Hello and good morning to everyone. My name is Alok Sharma, and in this particular video we are going to take an overview of the course Basic Maths for NEET and JEE that I am providing on SUPR course. So basic maths, it is actually required to study physics. Now you may say, sir, how? So what happens actually, there are many students, those who are preparing for NEET, and they do not have mathematics as their subject. So what happens when you don't have mathematics as your subject and when you start studying physics? So there are many things that are coming in physics which are written in terms of mathematical formulas, and then you will face some difficulty while you will not be able to understand these formulas and these equations. So basic maths is basically required to understand physics. The reason is mathematics is also called as the language of science. So in science there are many things that has to be written in terms of some mathematical format, and that we need to understand so that to understand the subject. So in this particular lecture, in this particular course, I have designed maths so that it will be covering the entire thing that is required to study physics for class 11th and class 12th. So let us start with the course structure. So basic maths is basically divided into two. One is the vector and the another one is the calculus part. So just leave behind the calculus part. Let us focus on vectors. So I think all of you must have heard of this thing, vector. So there are basically two kinds of quantities, scalar quantities and vector quantities. For scalar quantities, normal mathematical algebra is valid. But when it comes to vector, normal mathematical algebra is not valid. And that is why we need to study the algebra of vectors separately. And you must be knowing that there are many physical quantities which do have the effect of direction. That means they are vector quantities. In vector quantities, along with the magnitude, we have some direction, right? Like forces do have some direction. Displacement do have some direction. So when it comes to the algebra, like addition, subtraction, multiplication of vector quantities, we cannot just follow the rules of normal mathematical algebra. We have to follow some certain rules that are developed by our mathematicians, by our scientists, that actually follows vector quantities, that actually fits good for vector quantities. So inside vector quantities, we'll be discussing about addition, subtraction and multiplication. Now you may think that why this division is not coming. So the division part is not coming. The reason is the division of vector quantities is not at all defined. It's not at all defined. So only there are three things. In addition, we will be looking after two different things, and that is the triangle law and the second one is polygon law of vector addition. So when you are done with the addition part, subtraction part is just similar thing, and I will tell you the trick how to find out the subtraction, how to do the subtraction of two vectors. It is exactly similar to addition, just one trick you have to understand. Now coming to the multiplication portion, again there are two different varieties. When two vector quantities are multiplied, the resultant can be either a scalar quantity or it can be a vector quantity. Both are the possible things here. So when the resultant becomes a scalar quantity, then the product is called as dot product or a scalar product. And when the resultant also has some direction, means the multiplication of two vectors, when we are multiplying two vectors, if the resultant is also having some direction, that means the resultant is also a vector quantity, then that product is called as vector product or cross product. Clear? So this is all about the vector algebra part that we have to study, that we are going to cover in this particular course. Now coming to calculus portion, in calculus we have two different portions, that is differential calculus and the integral calculus. Fine. Now inside differential calculus we will try to know about the geometrical meaning of differentiation. First one will be geometrical meaning of differentiation, and then we will move on to increasing and decreasing function. Then we will talk about the maxima, how to find out maxima, minima using differentiation for a given function. for a given function where the maxima and minima will lie, depending on the differentiation, how we are going to find out those things that we'll be discussing in differentiation. Now in integration, there are two different kinds of integration. First is indefinite integral. First one is indefinite integral, and then second one is definite integral. Second one is definite integral. Inside indefinite integral, the limits are not defined. So starting point and ending point is not defined. But in definite integral, the starting and ending point is defined. So the exact answer we are going to get in definite integral, but in indefinite integral, whatever the answer we are going to get, we will have to add a constant thing. And that constant, maybe we won't be knowing about those people. Okay, so there are two different kinds of integration also. So all these things I'm going to cover in this particular course, and this course will be having total 11 lessons, and this is basically divided into three. First one is vector, second one is differential calculus, and then third one is integral calculus. So this particular course is designed in such a way that a person, if he doesn't know anything about vector, if he doesn't know anything about differentiation or integration, then also he'll be able to understand the complete thing. I'm going to start from the base. From first step, I'll be taking you to the last step. We will be solving the previous year problems as well that are already been asked in NEET examination, AIMS examination, AIPMT examinations. So these questions also will be discussing in this particular course, and I hope that this course is going to help you like anything, and you'll be able to solve each and every problem that are already asked in the examination after the completion of this course. Thanks for listening. Thank you.